Hello there, my name is Jake Riley, and today I'm going to be going over the metrics map that I made for my Quake map that I will be eventually making called Hateforge Manor. Now, when it came to making this map, there were a couple things that I wanted to get down before I really got started in earnest. That being the size of the player and some things that can help with the movement. This right here is just a little block to kind of give a sense of scale as to how large the player is, and this was what I had used to help make some of the structures, such as this room over here. This large room right here was something that I wanted to make that made the player feel as if they were in a bit of a smaller space, but it was also large enough to suggest that it is a lot bigger. Then we have the smaller room over here, which is a lot harder to jump inside of, but it still feels natural for the player to walk in. It still feels like a room that has a ceiling. And then we have this right here, which is the larger hallway of the two, and one of the more standard hallways that I'm going to be using throughout the map. And this is something that I really enjoy in that sense. This over here, though, is the narrower hallway. Now, the narrow hallway is still kind of big, because where I intend to use this hallway is in a section of the map known as the Grease Trap. Now, something that I learned through experimentation with this, and so that I don't have to change up the model of the game too much, is that the dog enemy type in Quake can't attack the player unless it's able to jump a substantial amount of Quake units. And if it can't jump, then it can't move at all toward the player, nor can it patrol around as it normally would. So as a result, that's why the ceiling is a lot higher, but the pathway is still narrow to make it feel a lot more cramped. As far as the doorways go, they would just be around this size, kind of just the same size as the player is, because this is supposed to be a manor in which a normal family would live. So doorways that are like single doors would look around this size, maybe even double doors. I'm not exactly sure which, but this is an average doorway that you would go through. These over here are meant to be the metrics for the jumps. I'm just going to go ahead and turn off my auto run real quick because I do believe that is on. Okay, no it is not. That's good. So let's go ahead and just do a quick jump from here to here. That's meant to be a more natural flowing jump for the player to cross. There's a segment of the level that I'm going to have the player drop down into the grease trap in the kitchen, and they're going to need to make a jump across the pit that they made by falling through it in order to acquire a key to the freezer. And this would most likely be the size of the jump required, with the pit being right in the middle here. Now this over here is supposed to be the longer jump of the two, which requires the player to sprint on the way there. So here you go. You sprint and then you can make it across quite easily, but it's a bit more strenuous and stressful than the other one because of the uncertainty of being able to make it or not. You can make it as I did just there. And over here, which is the most important part of this map, is the cover. Now, the cover for the player is kind of important because it needs to be small enough for the player to shoot over, but also I wanted to get a sense of how large I would want the full cover to be. This is this way so that it can protect the player against a flying enemy. Like say, for example, if there were going to be a wizard that were around the corner trying to shoot at them from above right here, then this piece of debris would block it from coming in. This is just another piece of cover that allows the player to jump and shoot over it like this. And this is just an example of like what a window would look like with the player being able to shoot over it naturally. This is all just some stuff that I made for the metrics to try to get a sense of scale for what the map is. As for what that will be, I'm going to be getting a gray box ready very soon, using a lot of the metrics that I found here today. And this, just one last thing, these are the stairs. Each of these are 8 Quake units tall, allowing the player to just kind of easily climb up the stairway like that. Now, that is going to be all for today. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will keep you all updated. Thank you.